is it going, guys? And welcome to my new horror Halloween video. I still have no idea what to call these, honestly. Last night I saw a movie called Tales of Halloween, and this is a film that just came out this year, and I was super excited to see, I believe, in the beginning of the year when they first announced it. And just like Trick or Treat, this film is actually an anthology horror film, meaning there's like 10, there's 10 short stories in like this one big movie, so yeah. The directors of this movie are Darren, Lynn, Bousman, Axelle, Adam Gierasch, Andrew Kasch, Neil Marshall, Lucky McKee, I like him, Mike Mendez, Dave Parker, Ryan Schniffendoofen, John Skipp, and Paul Solet. I butchered all their names, that's funny. But yeah, those are the people who created this one big movie. And personally, I really like anthology films. For example, Trick or Treat is one, VHS, ABCs of Death. I love all of those. And what I love about these types of movies is that there's just, there's so much to love about it. Because you have, some that aren't as good, and you have some that are kind of bad, and then you have some that are really good, and it's just like a big mixed, it's like the whole experience is really fun is what I'm trying to say. Whether there are good or bad ones, it's just the entire experience watching this movie. It's really fun, and plus they're like really short too, so if you have like a short attention span, then this is perfect. Now I am going to give you guys my thoughts on each of the segments of this film, but just keep in mind that I'm not necessarily going to tell you what these segments are about, just more so my thoughts on the segments, because I really don't want to tell you what each segment is about, because like that's gonna take forever. So I'm just gonna tell you what I thought about them. The first segment of this film is Sweet Tooth, which was directed by Dave Parker, and I thought this was pretty good. It was a pretty nice way to start off the movie. This second one, called The Night Bailey Raised Hell, which is actually directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who actually directed some of the Saw sequels. This one was a complete ripoff of Satan's Little Helper. It is literally the exact same story, the exact same everything. Like, I'm almost pretty convinced that this guy saw Satan's Little Helper one day and said, yeah, I have no other idea, so I'm going to make that into a little short film thing for this movie called Tales of Halloween, and that's exactly what he did. But despite it being a complete ripoff of Satan's Little Helper, there was actually some enjoyable parts in it. The next one is Trick, which was a pretty mediocre segment in my opinion. It wasn't the best out of the bunch, it wasn't the worst either, but it was meh. The fourth one, called The Weak and the Wicked, directed by Paul Solet, is probably might be the worst of the segments, honestly. This one was, I'm having trouble trying to even remember what it was about. It's definitely the most forgettable one, and it's the one I didn't really care for all that much, honestly. The fifth one, which is directed by Grinning Ghost, which is directed by Axelle, is the one that stars Axelle, that chick from Starry Eyes. I reviewed that a while back. She's in this segment, and I thought it was pretty good. It's very short and very simple and subtle, but it's pretty effective overall, and I liked it. The sixth one, called Ding Dong, which is directed by Lucky McKee, who I love. He did May and The Woman and a lot of those movies, and yeah, this one was another kind of weak one. Another one I just didn't really care for all that much. Number 7 was a fun one. This one is This Means War, which is directed by Andrew Kasch and John Skipp. This one was pretty fun. I really liked it, and I think it's probably actually one of the best of the anthology. The 8th one is Friday the 31st, which is directed by Mike Mendez, and this one, I really like this one, honestly. This might be one of my favorite ones, because it's kind of like I don't know, it kind of blends genres together, which I really like. Plus, it features like a cute little claymation alien who I absolutely love. But no, yeah, it was a good segment. I liked it. The 9th one, which is The Ransom of Rusty Rex, directed by Ryan Schifrin. This is actually the last film that Ben Wolf did. Rest in peace, Ben Wolf. But yeah, this one, I really liked this one as well. This one was very funny, very enjoyable, and I loved it. And for the 10th and final one, called Bad Seed, which is directed by Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall, if you don't know, he directed Dog Soldiers, The Descent, Doomsday, Centuron, I believe. I don't know. Yeah, this one is like the last one, and this is the one where it kind of wraps everything up. And it features a man-eating pumpkin, which is pretty cool, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great way to end the entire anthology, and yeah, I liked this segment overall, so, Yeah. So there you guys go. There's all my thoughts on each and every one of the segments of this film. As I mentioned, there were some weak ones, there were some really good ones, and there were just ones that I didn't really care for. But overall, as an experience of an anthology film, I really enjoyed this movie. It's definitely not my favorite anthology film, or my favorite Halloween film either. In fact, Trick or Treat is still like miles better than this movie. In fact, when I first heard of this movie, I thought, yeah, this is like a direct ripoff to Trick or Treat, and while watching this movie, I was thinking, yeah, this kind of is a direct ripoff to Trick or Treat. But whether it is a ripoff of Trick or Treat or not, or just, you know, heavily inspired by Trick or Treat, you still can't deny that this movie's a lot of fun. I had a really good time watching this movie. I really enjoyed it, and what I love most about it is that it felt like a Halloween movie. Something that has not been done in a movie in a long time. Like, since Trick or Treat, honestly. Trick or Treat feels like a flat-out Halloween movie that you would watch on Halloween. This is a Halloween movie that you would watch on Halloween, because it has a very Halloween type feel to it, and I love that about this movie. It's as if you were literally watching Halloween on screen, and I love that. What kind of surprised me about this anthology, however, is that it's very corny and campy, and it's does not take itself very seriously. Trick or Treat is definitely a much more serious film than this one, and Trick or Treat isn't even a very serious film. But this was like very campy and corny, and I'm not talking about just one or two segments, I'm talking about like all of them. They were all very, you know, corny, campy type segments. And I'm thinking like maybe the director, like, you know, went up to all the directors and said, hey, you gotta make all these segments super corny and campy and cheesy, because that's the kind of tone we're going for this type of film. I said that wrong. The type of tone that we're going for this film. There we go. I'm so smart. But the campiness and the corniness, I think, is just what makes it so great and kind of so memorable. It's what makes the film so memorable. Why am I having such a hard time talking today? My God. But yeah, guys, if you haven't watched Tales of Halloween yet, I definitely recommend you guys see this movie before Halloween ends. Just watch it, you know, don't watch it on any other month besides October. This is the perfect movie to watch during Halloween. It may not be as great as Trick or Treat or other Halloween films, but it's still definitely well worth a watch, and honestly, I can picture myself even watching it next year, maybe, if I'm in the mood. But yeah, guys, overall, Tales of Halloween is a very solid anthology. Some segments I loved, some I didn't care for, but overall the experience was a lot of fun. And overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this film a 4 out of 5. Definitely a movie you need to watch this Halloween if you haven't yet. And also, I forgot to mention this, I actually really like the second half more than the first half of this movie, and I really don't know why. I just felt like the first couple of segments were just a little, you know, but like from the 7th segment all the way to the end, like those are some really fun segments, and they are the reason why I gave this movie a 4 out of 5. But if the segments were all just kind of like the first couple ones, then I'd probably end up giving this movie a 3.5 out of 5. But thanks to those fun and effective segments towards the end, I'm giving this film a 4. But that's just me. I mean, there were a couple of good ones in the first half, but I really liked the ones in the second half. I think those are the most memorable ones and overall my favorite ones. But yeah, that's just me. I mean, you guys might think differently. Maybe you loved all of them. Maybe you hated all of them. I don't know. But yeah, guys, that is about it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. Also, before I go, please leave a comment section down below on what was your favorite segment. I would love to know. Personally, I'd say mine was probably maybe the 8th one. I don't know, the 7th or the 8th. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones, like I said. But yeah, just leave in the comments down below what was your favorite segment, what was your least favorite segment. Just talk to me about the movie. I like talking to you guys. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jacob Palacio, and I will see you guys later.